Tony. I keep saying Tony's name. Tony. If somebody was fast forwarding through this, they'd be like, "Is Tony the guy?" Welcome back to MKUSUAL Live.
It's our weekly podcast.
The show that will never die. We promised that we talk about the service industry stuff. I want to recap our shows. I want to start recapping our shows and like comments and stuff during these.
Okay.
We did one on why baby so dirty. That was our big conspiracy episode this week. Nick, what did we learn? It's gonna be a little commercial. We started off the week with the Fort Knox.
The gold.
The gold. Is there still gold?
Last seen in 2017 by the, what's his name? Mnuchin said the gold is fine. Yeah, the gold is safe. Last known alleged sighting. Before that was what, 1953 or something?
Yeah. We just kind of took Mnuchin's word for it.
Yeah.
Did not know that we don't just regularly look into that. And then we did a show called Selling Our Soul to the AI Gods. That was probably my favorite. It was fun to talk about AI. I like to rage against AI. That was the lady who was saying that. It was your author. Was it Whitney Webb?
Yes.
Which, by the way, how's that book going?
I'm like 7 pages in, and it's a lot to take in. I'm reading One Nation Under Blackmail. It's 2 volumes. The second one is thinner, and it's like still 300 pages, 250 some. And it's like the volume 1 starts during like the 1930s.
I did not expect that. I expected it was about the origins of Epstein and all that stuff.
Well, this is, I think, how fucking wide the web and
Someday we're gonna do a badass show when you finish one of these books.
Well, I'm having to reevaluate because like the FBI stuff now, they're like allegedly destroying or something's happening with the Epstein files in the New York field office with the FBI, and I think I should read the second one because she said the second one is like the current from like his rise to prominence until his arrest and alleged death.
Does it get into Ghislaine?
I think that would be in the second volume.
Because her dad's like Mossad, and I heard that her family has ties to the Bush family.
See, none of that. Like, from what I've read in the first 7 pages, they've already... It's talking about the origin of the OSS, which was like the Office of Special Services, which later became the CIA. It was like a World War II era intelligence agency with prominent families involved in its organization were the Vanderbilts, DuPonts, the Mellon family, which owned Gulf Oil. And then she says conspicuously absent were the Rockefellers, David and Nelson, who ran their own. Each of them had their own
honeypot scheme.
They had their own private intelligence agencies.
Oh boy! But that episode, the AI, that's her talking about
Yes.
Whether or not it's destroying our brains and what kind of powerful elite want to destroy our brains. Then we had an episode on the pyramid being a power plant.
That was fun.
Power plant confirmed, baby.
Yeah.
Check it out. They shot waves at this thing, and it started moving around the chambers in a way that this freaking archaeologist or engineer, I think, had described before in this theory that it was a power plant. And Edgar Casey, famous sleeping prophet, said that it was a power plant with no evidence to back that up.
So something that like I had a thought after that, like yesterday or the day before, about the word resonating came up when we were talking about the pyramids, like based on its design inherently resonates sound. So, but then, okay, have you ever seen the inside of those Bose speakers?
No.
They have like two very small speakers, but they were like known for getting big sound out of like small enclosures, but they have like a tunnel system where the sound like the design of the speakers weren't huge and didn't need a lot of power, but could like create a big sound.
I know I had one of those old bubble iMacs, and the speakers are like that big, and they're Bose, and that thing's loud as shit, dude.
Yeah, there was something to like the design, because I remember like the top-down view is literally, it's like a maze where the sound channels literally like intertwine with each other.
Check it out. Pyramid Power Plant. We did one on if New York City's a psyop, kind of just a philosophical talk about whether or not we're kind of trapped in this idea. You got to go somewhere, be somebody, make it. Then we had Forbidden Cures. You can't sell what you can't patent. That was 3 different examples.
Cancers are
Oh, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Cancer being parasites. That came out this week, possibly.
Yeah.
This is just about doctors who kept getting raided by the American Medical Association.
Yeah, who has a task force?
Because they kept figuring out that stuff like radio waves or like vitamin shots might help you be healthier.
Yeah.
Does the American... I never asked ChatGPT or Google. Does the American Medical Association have an armed faction that raids hospitals? It's going to be like, no. Well, what we figured out, though, was that the guy who ran the FDA or whatever was like obviously, that one's a good one. Check it out. Okay, then we had a really weird one about the death of Meriwether Lewis.
That was fun, too.
That one, I just kind of stumbled upon that information and was like, what?
I used to live on Quality Hill, and there's a huge overlooking the river on top of the hill. We're in Kansas City. Like, looking down over the river is a huge statue of Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea. It's like a 15-foot statue. It's also a great place to smoke crack.
Says the neighborhood locals.
Yeah.
How old was Sacagawea when she was 12 years old when she was taken?
They used the word taken.
I used the word taken. She was later gambled away to Toussaint Charbonneau, a French-Canadian fur trader, who made her one of his wives. All right.
He did the gentlemanly thing.
He married her.
Yeah.
Then we had Summoning the Occult Origins of UFOs. That one goes through like Aleister Crowley, Jack Parsons, the more recent whistleblower stuff. All these attempts the government has to summon these things or to like... I think we got in a long-ass philosophical discussion about like what's the difference between like science and magic and like summoning or honeypotting, like...
Initiating. All of them were trying to initiate contact, which is... Well, and then the Aleister Crowley stuff was when that was like the 1800s.
That was the early 1900s.
Early 1900s. Yeah,
I think maybe 1930.
Okay.
He's quite the character. We'll have to do more stuff on him.
Yeah.
And then finally, my favorite topic: living dinos, dinosaurs among us, dude. They're out there. We have like 5 different types of dinosaurs that are out there. And I'm not talking like chickens or T-Rexes. I mean, like there might be a T-Rex in Cameroon eating hippos.
Well, there was a Stegosaurus, a Brontosaurus, pterodactyl,
a T-Rex and a raptor.
Yeah. The fucking dream team.
So we solved the universe, man. And still my favorite, though, was last week's Who the Hell Are These Things? What Are We? All this stuff's at the top of our YouTube page. You just go there. That one's about aliens and whatnot. And, of course, this week... we posted Nick's stand-up set after being unjustly fired.
Yeah, I think that's the opinion of the general. That's the consensus of the opinions I've gotten from other people. I don't need to comment, and
I'll comment.
A lot of people reached out in support. So that felt good. Thank you guys. You know who you are, the real ones.
I just found out 10 minutes ago I'm getting shit talked on me to a mutual friend. Apparently, if you post on Facebook about somebody and then everybody agrees with you,
there hasn't been any dissenting opinions.
Apparently, when you tell an undisputed story, it's because you are making up things. Let's see here. And social media manager for the club is concerned for my mental health because I wasn't going to stand for my roommate and best friend being treated like total shit.
And yourself.
I guess all of the, yeah, not to mention myself. Actually, I was pretty quiet till you. I was like insanely quiet till you. Let's see. Yeah, apparently all these people are having struggles too. It's kind of crazy. Let's see here. This guy says, I was fired over text by him the day after getting my schedule and a pat on the back about how great I was doing.
I remember that. That was not me.
No, I'm not going to read yours.
I got fired.
He must be struggling, dude. He must be having a mental breakdown. This guy says water there is too expensive. $8 for a 5-cent water bottle of water from Cody Dietrich. Cody's struggling. This lady, who appears to be like a 50-year-old business owner, says she drove Lyft for him and got fucked over on money. This person who I worked with at the bar and now runs a successful... Actually, these two people who are parents together, an husband and wife, who I've worked with there, also say they got fucked over. She says she got sexually harassed. They must be struggling. They're of course successful owners of a private bar company, so they must have no idea what they're doing. Here's a guy who commented, says he got fucked over and getting got a show booked there, and then Dustin Kaufman was, quote, too chicken shit to tell him himself that he didn't want him to perform in that show. I remember that. That dude's doing good in Florida now. Good friends with Shane Torres. Let's see here. Keeps
What else?
going.
Oh.
We got your shit. We got your shit. Oh, here's the guy who was arrested for saying that Dustin Kaufman was boring to talk to at parties. Said it to the chick Dustin wanted to bang. Wrong text got shared to the wrong person. Part of both our stories. Got trespassed and arrested for standing outside.
I was fired.
Also, another example of being too chicken shit to do it himself. Go ahead.
I was going to say I got fired 2 weeks after being given a raise. And
I got given a raise and then didn't get the raise money for close to a year and a half. And then when I said,
how was that resolved?
And then how was that resolved? I don't know. Better than when he stole thousands of dollars from the servers. And then I think wrote them a check after taxes were.
Yeah.
But held on to it for months and months because, value, money has no time value. It doesn't matter that people had their cars towed and were working second jobs and.
Oh, that's another reason I got fired.
Literally went to jail for debt collection. Yeah, what's that?
Well, I had to work a second job, and that was part of the reason I got fired.
Even though you didn't miss anything you're scheduled for. What's even better? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So then what? Let's look at all the people who are suffering from drug addiction, mental illness, and alcoholism on this page here. Okay, so we got that guy. Then I got a text from the guy whose wife he was fucking while they were married, helped break up a marriage.
Oh, his
employee's
wife?
Yeah, I think they're dating now. Huge latent homosexual, by the way. Obsessed, not the employee. Obsessed with how dudes dress and shit. Uses other people's wives as a beard. Let's see here. Yeah, your text where he says he'd pay someone $70 an hour. But what was the raise you asked for?
I didn't ask for a raise.
Oh, you got a raise.
I got $1 extra an hour.
Well, damn, you should have paid 70. You should have asked for $50.
The raise came a couple months after he told me that I increased the food sales for his business by 15%.
Yeah, he's a victim, man, because you shouldn't have to pay people to work.
Yeah.
Are you suffering?
Mm-hmm.
Are you mentally ill? Do you have alcoholism? Do you have drug addiction?
I've been suffering for 480 days from sobriety. I was sober.
No, you wouldn't be saying any of this.
I've been completely sober for a year and a half, which was...
That's another thing he does is he accuses people who, like one time he, pretty sure he made a pass to this chick. She rejected him. He started talking shit behind her back that she was stealing.
Oh.
That she was like, she had to be stealing because like the sales weren't as good in the upstairs. He made this horrible decision to make this like upstairs fake ass like stage room. And then when he wasn't selling enough beer without evidence, and when asked by myself, like, oh, well, what's the inventory say? Like, how much is missing? No evidence. Just decided the chick was stealing. Also, I remember one chick he took on a couple dates who started accusing of doing cocaine at the club. Slander. Big fan of slander. Here's something that's not slander. One, anything we've said. Two, anonymous member on Are We Dating the Same Guy, Kansas City, Topeka. I will be boasting this post on Facebook. I will be adding this as a post on Facebook and paying a few bucks a day. Initials are DK. Red flag, red flag. There's red flags throughout this thing. Very charming at first, super charming. Starts off funny, sweet, but is expert controlling gaslighter. An expert controlling gaslighter. Date someone else and ghost you until he wants some, or we'll just date your wife. Dude, you know how many times he called me, sounding like he was gonna break down crying because this guy's wife wouldn't commit to him. At one point after the marriage broke up, she got with just some random guy, some doctor or something, and then like he was trying to break that up, and then he was just like, I don't know if she's ever gonna want to be with me, but I can't be happy. Literally just classic narcissism. It's like when a dog wants a toy just because the other dog picks it up. So anyway, expert controlling gaslighter, according to Are We Dating the Same Guy, Kansas City. Unless you enjoy unresolved issues. Oh, and cheater. Controlling gaslighter, expert controlling gaslighter, and cheater. We're not even halfway through this. Unless you enjoy unresolved issues, and which they claim to go to therapy for. Parentheses. They don't. Probably avoid. Sure, he's a great friend. He's not. He has no real friends. And if you have a mutual friend with you, he will slander you to them. But good luck with any kind of relationship. Pretty sure he likes them young. Young enough not to see the red flag emoji.
It's just interesting to me because, like...
Can I mock this selfie? I'm going to put this selfie up. Are you 14?
Yeah.
Are you a 14-year-old girl? Dude, to have that next to that review is so fucking funny to me. There's your emergency episode, Tony. Tony, you gotta share this, buddy. You gotta like the page.
I was just looking up wage theft. And
oh yeah, I never told you how my wage theft story ended.
Oh yeah, how was that resolved?
So when I was told that I hadn't been getting this raise for like months and months, my response was, "Oh, awesome! I can use that to pay off my car." And the direct response was, "You can't be serious. I would have to call my tax person to fix this." And I said, "I am serious. I'd like to get paid what I'm supposed to make." And then the promise was made to fix it, which never happened.
Well, that's wage theft. Wage theft, most common, $50 billion a year. Most common type of theft in the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to the tune of like more than double the amount of all burglaries, robberies, and vehicle theft combined.
James 5:4, behold the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. I think like there's like 3 sins that cry out to God, and one of them is the blood of the murdered, and another one is like making people work for you through fraud and then not paying them the amount that they.
Oof. Yeah.
Bad person.
Not paid for overtime. That's a very common. And then.
What about when an employee wants to see their pay stubs and you like try to stop them from looking at their own pay stubs
for several months?
Yeah, and then you fire them shortly before you ask to see them, or shortly right after.
Mm-hmm. It was like 4 days after that.
By the way, any servers of the comedy club watching this? Oh, sorry. Go ahead and tell yours while I look this up.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to put any details out there, but
you should. Some of this that's going in certain should keep back.
Off the clock work. That's a common type of wage theft. Like a 30-minute meeting that turns into a 2-hour meeting, and then I clock in, and I, with manager privileges, clock myself in and out for that time. And
those are probably manipulated. I'm going to warn you. I was actually warned by a former managers of his to always keep my printed little stubs. I'm just warning you. Those were probably manipulated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't, I could see, but I might have to call the time clock company, and they'll have a record of adjustments.
Oh, I want to tell my bros who still work there, who finally got paid without interest and probably paid taxes on the stolen tips.
Oh yeah, that's another.
December
says here, wage theft, stealing tips, taking gratuities that legally belong to employees.
December, before I quit, filed a Department of Labor complaint. You're welcome for eventually getting paid.
Yeah, that's right around the time.
Got my email right here from the Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division. Also, part of your story, text again. Part of my story said the wrong thing to the wrong people about this complaint. You always hear the dude's so stupid that and he's so insecure that he's got to talk to somebody about the shit that's getting ready to happen. Mm-hmm. So you always hear it before it happens that he like knows about certain things. Oh my God. So funny. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll be boosting that old dating review post along with this thread of people.
It says here, how to fight wage theft. File a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor or your state's labor board. Wage and Hour Division. Also says seek legal help. Dennis, you know any lawyers?
No.
Okay. We'll have to talk to some lawyers.
We'll have to find some lawyers who know what to do. Oh, man.
Yeah, the off-the-clock work thing drove me insane, personally.
Oh, I personally work so much. What's funny, though, is, too, if you clock out like 15 minutes late one day or something, like that will be brought up to you, mm-hmm. but not like the 2.5-hour meeting they know you had. Mm-hmm. It's pretty nuts, dude. Yeah. And what's funny is those meetings really, being like a professional who's like ran programs and worked in a lot of offices and like couple like really good, I wouldn't call them startups, but I'd say worked one-on-one with the people who started a department or started a firm. Every single one of those meetings could have taken place as either a text message. I know that's a common complaint. Here's something that probably doesn't happen at work. Probably the 2-hour meetings could have been 15 minutes if he wasn't high all the time.
Yeah, if he wasn't smoking weed during the 2.5
or more. I'm sure I've seen him coked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, during the meetings, definitely high. Can't get out of bed high. Can't go pick up his kids from school high. Definitely cruising around with kids in the car and leaving them places high. That'll be another interesting avenue for this to go down. Shouldn't talk shit to people's friends, you piece of shit. Anyway, so yeah. So anyway, that's that segment. We want to move into a general story segment. What do you got to say? We promised Tony we had to do, had to do this segment of the podcast. Then we had to soften it by talking about summoning aliens first.
to lighten it up. I we could. This is not even. I'm not gonna read some of the private responses I've gotten.
Well, see, because I posted about you, but a lot of people just hop in and out of there. So I've been getting responses that are probably meant for you. I've gotten at least 6 texts from people who didn't know that I haven't been there for months, and so I had posted like it's a piece of shit thing to do, fire someone over text. So I've been getting people to reach out to me talking shit. A lot of former employees and like friends and comics and stuff, and then like, but I know, and then I'll just tell them like, oh well, that's actually about. I'm like, I totally appreciate what you're saying though. Anyway, all right, moving on.
I don't know. I used to work at this sandwich place, and we used to. It was like deli sandwiches. We used to, with the mustard or the mayo, we'd like draw dicks on the buns or on the bread, or write like "fuck you" or "eat shit" with the mustard, and then like put all the toppings on top. So like they get a good amount of mustard on there. But we fucked up this one time and put onions on the sandwich. It wasn't supposed to have onions. And so the person took all the toppings off, and there was just a huge yellow cock on their sandwich.
Oh, no.
But I did that to every single burger I made at the comedy club. I drew a mayonnaise penis on it. And imagine 250 people eating mayonnaise penises.
Did that, I mean, that's harmless. It's not a real penis.
No, actually, I don't think I ever did that one time there. But... how will you know?
How would you know?
I don't know. I also like part of the reason I got fired was he said that I allowed the kitchen to fall back to the level of cleanliness that it was before I started.
Didn't you have something to do with your alcoholic like coworker? Well, if that was even true, which I know it's not because I saw how hard you work, and I'm home when you have nowhere to go but home after you're done, so I know you're there hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I mean, I can objectively. This isn't even my opinion. This is the opinion of the health department.
Who talked to you?
It was who talked to me during the walkthrough. Said during my time there, it was one of the cleanest kitchens they'd seen.
Oh, I'll say when I started, bro. 1, the whole bar was full of knickknacks and shit. 2, oh my god, dude. They still don't have sinks that are operating fucking correctly, but I mean,
they're not in the kitchen either, which is a health code violation. They didn't. I'm pretty sure he greased the plumber a couple smackaroos to tell because there was a mechanical issue with the sink, it wouldn't drain properly. He bullied the health inspector. And so they were going to get shut down because this was the 2nd or 3rd time that this had been observed. Like, that's out of facilities management was not my job. Cleanliness, food storage, labeling, proper storage, like, raw meat on the bottom, produce on the top, etc. Like, that's all serve safe stuff. That was all done correctly. Last inspection, not a single mark in the kitchen. Nothing.
Well.
Except for the sink. And that...
They almost shut him down that night.
Yeah.
He called a plumber and they fixed it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the plumber... Because obviously the health department isn't plumbers, so they have to take an expert opinion. And I think he just said he would pay the guy some cash on the side to say that it was this... that it needed a 2-inch pipe instead of a 1.5, and that was why it wasn't draining. But
when did you start working there?
Oh, I'd have to think about that.
So it's going back to the way. It's going to obviously go back to the way before you worked there. Would you say it's before August of 2021?
This summer would have been 2 years. So maybe summer
of 2022.
2022.
All right.
I believe.
So between opening in November 8th of 2019 to when you started, there was Oh my God. Oh my God. How have I never looked at this? 14 critical health inspection findings.
Okay.
There was one where there was a follow-up on August 13th of 2021 with 5 critical findings. Wow, so you must have been doing a terrible job. This is before, that's before you.
Does it say how many were in the last, let's just say 2 years?
I pulled it up. I pulled up a new page. Oh my God. Anyway, so let's go.
I don't know.
Oh, Tony.
Tony.
I keep saying Tony's name.
Tony.
If somebody was fast forwarding through this, they'd be like, "Is Tony the guy?"
Dude, I don't know. My current job, I'm working for a James Beard nominated chef, and he says I'm doing very well at my job. So,
Well,
I don't think the comedy club was nominated for a James Beard award.
he doesn't sit around bragging about the weird shit you can put on fries and.
He said my favorite item that's on the menu is baked potato fries, and he said it had never been done before. But if you look at Ugly Joe's menu across the street,
God, how fucking stupid. Okay.
Ugly Joe's.
Somehow beating the comedy club to innovation. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Water. Okay, well, that was half an hour. ChatGPT does say it's possible that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, who was involved in the CIA and therefore hooked up with George Bush 1. Direct link between Epstein and the Bushes. 2 sitting U.S. presidents. The real scandal.
Yeah. Oh, those bottles of water cost 18 cents. I want to say that for the record.
Bruh.
I'm
not even getting into that. Fucking how pathetic is a fucking person, dude. Oh my God. The fucking day I had to put my dog down and he brought in this ugly ass Bumble date or Tinder date. Probably someone he was paying for sex. He pays people for sex. But anyway, he brought in this ugly ass Bumble date and he started making fun of me killing my dog. She looked mortified.
Your dog,
I've never seen a date look so fucking mortified to be with somebody.
Your dog was 17 and a half.
Yeah, we were best friends for over a decade. That's a normal non-psychopathic way to treat people while they're on the clock for you.
The day after. A lot of people.
It was the day of, dude. It was less than 24 hours. I had to take him in at like the middle of the night. And then I left him here. One of my biggest regrets in my life was leaving him here sick, but my mom was on the way from her house. So I knew it'd only be a couple hours, but he was so sick. And then I said, he's so bad. I need you to go watch him because if it gets really bad, I want to come home and we'll have to take him. Knew all of this, can't staff his business enough to fucking give someone a day off. Then the day they have to hold their dog while he dies, crack shit to impress a fucking Tinder crack whore who I should stop making fun of her though, because she was at least a normal enough person. If you could see the fucking look on her face, that was the only reason I didn't snap, was I just like knew karma was coming in the form of how this person was going to know about this. Yeah, what were you going to say?
Well, what did he say, if you don't mind sharing?
He said, "Hey, you gonna hang out after work, or are you gonna go home to your? Oh wait, you don't have a dog," and then said something else about like, "Oh yeah, like what's it like to not have a dog?" And then looked at Tinder Day and said, "Do you think if I keep going, I can make him cry?" Which is when she was like, I remember one of the bar assistant people who worked there for a while. who gave him a blowjob. He would take her out and try to like.
Oh yeah.
Okay, dude. Dude. When we would work like the next day together or something, and she'd fucking. I don't know, man. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I can just say whatever I want in the future.
Yeah, check back in.
But all of this is fake.
Yeah.
All of it is fake.
This is a paranoid delusion.
All of these people.
Shared by drug addicts and the mentally ill.
About the drug addict. God damn, dude. All right. We love you. Did it for you, Tony. Sorry, Lori. Bye.
Bye.